Hello, hi. I did not do a question of the day again. I didn't even check. Hold on. Are the sounds working? They weren't working last time. If they're not working, I will just end the stream and start again. Because if they're not working, that's kind of important. Where's the fart? Test. Good. Okay. We're good. We're good. Is that my own text? Yeah, okay. At everyone, the stream modpack updated, lots of stuff, so new world. That's not what I want to do. It didn't give me the website. Give me my website. There we go. Thank you. Boop. And the things. This thing. There we go. Also, I need to add important thing. Also, now on videos will. I'm gone. Wonderful. Am I back? Cool. Yay! From now on, videos on the main channel will be only once a week. Once a week. And then PSMP is alternating with Amalgamation. Next episode will be PSMP the 11th. There we go. Now I will send out message and also at Pumpky. Yeah. So that's a bit of a thing. I have wanted to do that for a minute because this week, last week, was a scramble of getting everything done and making sure I'm getting everything done. And I have no idea if live, this music's a little too loud. I think it is. I'm going to turn that down. There we go. As was a hectic-ass week, and I would like to have free time. That is a nice thing to have. And have genuine time to myself and, like, time to take care. There they are. I would like to have time to actually take care of things instead of scrambling every week, every day. Because all I did yesterday was set up pillager ploy stuff. That's the only thing I did yesterday, basically. And thankfully I got it all done today. I wrapped up a few more things this morning. And I was able to go hang out with a friend. I let people start looking for the pillager ploy heads. We may have to do a different thing. People are finding their heads a lot faster than I anticipated. Nice hoodie. Thank you. Yes, the disappointment. I've been working on homework for like 7 days a week for the past 3 to 4 weeks. This week has been an exception, thankfully. Nice. We may have to have a backup because people are finding their pillager heads faster than I anticipated. If I check back, I think Matt found all of his within an hour or two, which I'm happy about that. Yeah, within an hour. Because I let them start looking about 9:17 a.m. and then 10:52 a.m. today, he sent a screenshot showing that he got all his heads. We'll see how Lilac and Skip do. If they do really easy and they find theirs before Sunday, I have a backup plan. So that'll come about in the video. Yeah, and one of those classes, a state uni level psych class, not the funnest element. Yeah, that sounds like a lot. Do I have this at the right level? Not quite. I want to just. Ew, that's a little too close to the wall. It's dragging. Yeah. So that was an entire scramble yesterday. I made 3 different mazes, and these were not small mazes. They were far from small, very, very much so. But I don't have any regrets. But that is literally the only thing I did yesterday. And then the entirety of Monday was editing. Sunday, I had a late stream and scrambled to get home. I can't remember what I did I think Saturday I was wrapping up editing. I honestly can't remember what the hell I did Saturday. Whips and nays, your stream have helped it feel less terrible exponentially, I'll admit. I'm very glad about that. It's weird, like, having this community build up and getting comments like that, but I'm just happy to be here and make it a bit better. Content creation is something I've always wanted to do. This is the funniest thing. I have subscribers on a personal channel because when I was like 11, I recorded videos on my tablet of me and my cousin playing Build Battle on my PS3, and then I uploaded them without any editing. And I still have like 7 subscribers on that channel for some fucking reason. But it's something I've always wanted to do, and I'm happy I've been able to pursue it, but also like taking more time each week. This means Amalgamation will have more content per video, and so it's going to be mostly funny moments with the progression of the world. And then PSMP, I get to have more time to actually plan out builds and take my time instead of wasting a week working on a skeleton farm, working on the stupid auto smelter, spending a 12-hour day making 3 separate mazes that are all unique, and I don't regret a thing for that, actually. But yeah, that's all fun. This will give me more time, and I'm gonna try and get a summer job too, because believe it or not, I'm unemployed. Shocker. Get a summer job so I can have Christmas money. I do not have a small family. Christmas is expensive as hell. But alright. All that fun stuff. It's all great. It's great. I wanted to have an early stream today so we can have more time to get this done. This will still be episode 6. We're on episode 6. This will be episode 6. We are starting a new world because I've made enough changes to the mod pack where I feel like we should start a new world, and I've slightly altered the icon or the logo so it's a different text. It's more of a casual feel to the fonts rather than spooky creepy, because we've completely side past spooky creepy. I have kept Herobrine though. He's words. What's the word I want? He's pivotal to the lore of this at this point. So he's still here. Also, I think it'd be funny if he's the final boss. Because with the mods I have, you can fight Herobrine. We've always been able to. I just refuse to. But all of the horror mods are gone. I've also added some smaller slice of life things, like a physics mod that I've tweaked, so hopefully it doesn't crash out stream. If it does, we'll fix it or remove it. I imagine from now on there's only going to be smaller tweaks, but unless we keep playing and I realize, oh, I want to take this direction with it, we'll keep it basically as it is at this point. Then we also have, I still have Chipped in here because I still adore it. I have a camera up haul. There we go, that's what I want. We also have a camera overhaul, so the only reason I've kept it, I kind of don't like it, but the only reason I kept it is because... The only reason I've kept this mod, because I kind of don't like it, is because it's funnier than hell when you walk around with a glade, especially if you're dual-wielding glades, because you just see at the bottom of the screen, the way I have it set up, you just see this at the bottom of the screen. It's the funniest thing to me. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's really anything else that I added. I added mob heads because I thought that'd be funny. Oh, I still have Sons of Sins in here. The only reason I still have Sons of Sins, I think I also kept, what is it? There we go. I also kept Born in Chaos and Sons of Sins. Because those are really cool mobs. I feel like they add a lot to the game, and especially because this is especially because this is amounting to be more of a dungeon crawler. I think keeping those guys in on okay, I'm over talking this. I just want to keep Princess, and I really like the pumpkin spirits. That's the long and the short of it. I'm trying to reason this when that's my only reasoning. I just want to get another Golber. They're adorable. They're fantastic. I love them. I also added another mod. We'll see if that comes about. I'm not mad. Oh, there's spawn animations. And I've specifically set up the world so we don't see the cities as much. So the cities are now rare instead of everywhere. And then I've also added a simply sneak mod, is what it's called. So we can sneak around the mobs. let me look at this again, because I don't think there's like a sneak skill, but you can sneak around them. Yeah, you can sneak past mobs now. Also, there's third-person animations, which, because of having the camera overhaul, we can see in first person. And another mod that lets me see my character in first person that I've adjusted a little bit. So hopefully, I think that's everything. Otherwise, it's small quality of life things that I've added, like tough backport, display cases. Because I like displaying the fun stuff I get. We still have ambient additions, we still have Alex's mobs. I'm hoping this time I can have a pet without it dying. We'll see, though. We'll see. I've preloaded the world because it takes forever to load. So let's get into it. And we're not removing the book this time. Also, if I look down, there we go. You can see body. This looks horrible when you're on a ladder, by the way. But I've tried to make it a very slight thing with the camera overhaul. So it's not all in your face. And is that a village? In the bottom, in the southeast corner of the map? I love how I have an easier time saying southeast versus bottom right. I've played with Journey Map way too much. I need to have it now. We're gonna go with my hamburgers as per normal. I like the pumpkin spice lattes. I feel like we're gonna have hamburgers immediately here, and then I'm gonna immediately try and switch over to apple juice for a bit, because apple juice I can get things back, and that's really easy to set up early, especially if I find some malaise that can make the process way faster. Because all I need is 2 pistons and a hopper, and some glass bottles, and I can get apple juice going exponentially. Norbert. That's a perfect name for a nitwit. Actually, whoa, sir. Calm your butt. I'm stealing this bed. Calm your butt. Oh yeah, that'll do. Okay, hold on. Okay, looks like we're speedrunning this. Cool. Give me this stuff. Boop. No, what? I don't know what I just clicked. Yeah, do it. Speedrun. I love the pixels. I might change about the pixels and all the physics, because I don't like it as much for the blocks. I just really want it for the mobs. That's my entire reasoning for having it. I just like having it for the mobs. I just want to see him ragdoll. Oh yeah, if I... just the Mario. Yahoo! 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 My voice can't really do that anymore, but I can still try. Stone Age. And there's like iron over there. Yes. What if we just go beat the Ender Dragon this stream? What about that? That sounds like fun. That sounds horribly fun. That'd be great. I always say that I want to do that, and then we never do. What if I actually did this time? Perhaps. What if I did? You know, what if I just went ahead and did that? I need, like, I want 3 more. We can make a quick axe. Also, how long is it going to take for Herobrine to show up? I just want to see the boy. I just want to see the guy. He's great. He's my best pal. And then we're going to beat him up in the end, because turns out this was a D&D plot. He's actually the villain. Man, not being like walking out of your room for the first time and seeing the bathroom light on, knowing someone was in there just to walk out. I am not comprehending. That's definitely a me thing, though. Oh, nothing. Nothing like walking out of your room for the first time and seeing the bathroom light on, knowing someone was in there just to walk out. And seeing the person sitting in the living room and you tell them, they go, oh shit, and proceed to just sit there instead of going to shut off the damn light. Wow. Not cool. Not cool behavior. I wanted to keep those. Looks like we're using planks instead. Okay. Sorry for the horrible selling, I have a migraine. No worries. It just took me a sec to decipher. Is there any more iron? I should just make bread. I need to make bread. There's coal right here. There's coal. I could have used coal. I low-key kind of like having the third person. I'm not entirely, or like seeing the body in first person, I should specify. I kind of like seeing, hey! Hey! I know that thing. I added like a small aesthetic mod where you can see old adventurer corpses. Does it give me bounds? Do you give me bounds? Bones and coal! Lovely! Can we get a dog? What a dog doing? I wanna get a pumpkin. I wanna get a corgi. I talked about this last time. I would still love to get a Pembroke corgi named Cow. That is such a specific thing, but I would love that. That'd be adorable. And I'm not seeing anything else uber important aside from coal in this place. So I'll steal a few more pieces. I absolutely need to get my hands on a compass so we can head to the stronghold and then loot the hell out of that. Water bucket. Water bucket. There may be a compass. There may be a compass in the village. I'm not entirely sure on that. That's just a major hope. But I know compasses can spawn in villages, and then we just need crackstone bricks. And cobwebs, which is the harder one to get, but because of all the structures I have in this, it's just a matter of hopefully finding one. My bet... Oh, hi. Idalia? Idalia? I'm not sure. It's just a matter of us coming across one. Or if it spawns in a chest, which is the far more ideal version at this point. It's spawning in a chest is far more ideal, because then I don't have to craft shears. And not a thing I want. And there's another town there. Okay, great. These ones are definitely gonna have more loot, though. I think it's pronounced Idalia. Idalia. That's actually a pretty name when you say it correctly. Also, I'm absolutely taking all this and starting to organize my inventory. I'm keeping the bones. Not making the mistake. I'm keeping the bones. What have you? Woo! I can make an emerald bow again. I love mods. We're already overpowered. This is fantastic. Suddenly fighting the Ender Dragon isn't as harrowing. It's just gonna be really easy. What the? I've never seen this. String, I'll take that. Iron, I'll take that. I'll take all of that, please and thank you. Yes. Yes, all of that. And nothing in the... Ooh, cool. I'll take the extra crafting table. I need chests for a sophisticated backpack. Yes? Backpack? Oh, if I type back, they show up. I don't know why they show up under backpack, though. Backpack. Chest and leather. Just looked up names meaning it means behold the sun, so it's got a pretty interesting story behind it too. That is a gorgeous name. Autocorrect. No worries. If we get some more cows, I'm not gonna worry about food too much because we have a bit right now. If we get some more cows, then I can make a sophisticated backpack. I still need wool if I want to make a useful backpack, and the reason we have both of those is because, fuck you, I want both of them. Is there a chest under here? Yes. Fantastic. And anything up here? No. Anything off to the side? Is there anything behind here? Yes, there is. Paper, candles, and an ink sac. I don't actually care about all that. Anything? No. I can make mushroom stew with everything in there, but... String! Iron! All the good stuff. Good stuff. Great, okay, wonderful. Oh, no. You're not tricking me. I need even the 2 emeralds I got from that. I'll take anything I can get right now. Come on, I just need things. Compass? No. It's almost night, though. With all the string I have, I could start making wool, too. Books. I need 2 for an enchanting table, and that means I need 4 or 2 enchanting tables. Because I need an enchanting table to craft the tool leveling table, which I did craft in the last one, but I didn't use it at all. I'm like, oh, this thing's overpowered, it's amazing. And then I never touched it. Not even once. I'm getting a lot of emeralds. I may be able to start trading with villagers for some extra bread. I think that is an option for us at this point. I seriously just want one of these to have a compass. I'll still take the iron though. That's great. Oh. Don't like that view though. Not a fan of that one. Did my bed just do a flip into my hand? Okay. Porg. Porgs. Catfish. The catfish are so chunky. Hello. Catfish are so chunky in this. Oh! Okay. Bonk. Do you understand? This is why. That is exactly why I wanted the why I wanted the ragdolls. You know what, for a moment, we're gonna take a second to change physics settings. I want to get rid of the blocks. Off. There we go, block physics. Insert Lego brick falling apart sounds. I should do that. Yes, I'm gonna do that in editing. Thank you. If I forget, then this will remind me. Pork. Is this... I don't know what this is. Anything in there? Nope. Okay. Don't know why. Don't know why it's there. But I'll take out. I need a singular piece of flint for flint and steel later. That is a very good thing to have, especially early on, because we can just, if we want to drop stuff without causing lag, we can just burn it. Also, I'm getting a lot of arrows, which is fantastic. I don't currently have extra wood, so let's handle that real quick. I want to make sure I'm prepared. Bop. Bop. And I'll eat the apple right now, so it's not clogging up inventory. I think, did we not enter the big building in the center? Where, and there we go. String. I could definitely start making wool then. I haven't gotten any leather from any of this. Nor have I seen any cows. Shh, there's a mausoleum that way. We could more than likely get cobwebs that way. Either by shears or by chest loot. I should start making iron stuff now. Well, I just... Hey, welcome! It took you a minute! Hi! We're on 1.2 of the mod pack. How are you? Technically, this is day 1 of this version. Okay, hi. Great! It took him about 10 minutes. I think last time it took him like 30 or something. I was lollygagging so much. Oh yeah, we can absolutely get cobwebs in here. Yeah. I can't see me shooting the bow though, is the only problem of this third person mod. Okay, is there any... I know... Can I just... There we go. I want to go around it. There's string, more coal. Other side. Taking the bones. Is there any cobwebs in here? No. I'll take more bones, though. And a piece of bread and more bones. Alright, shears. I don't know how often I'm going to use these, but I need the compass. And we're heading straight to the stronghold. I can definitely get really good gear and loot in the stronghold. I don't even have a compass yet. I haven't got any redstone. Redstone. There's something this way. That's another village. Maybe, perhaps it will have redstone. Place the boat. Maybe, perhaps it will have redstone. I have doubts, but maybe it'll have a compass. That is... I see a Fletcher, but I need a cartographer. Sirs. Oh, you have red bed. Hold on. Red bed. Red bed. Red bee. Sirs, you have a zombie on a pike. What? Tamika, why do you have a zombie on a pike? That's... Okay. It's like, I refuse to look at you. I will not talk to you. Aaron, do you know why? No, he doesn't want to deal with this. No! Oh, I see exactly. Where is it? Oh, it's down there. Of course it's stuck in the water. I hate the cobweb entanglement. It's a Young's dungeon. Let me say this. I hate the dungeon. I love the mod pack. The dungeon does very good in making... Oh yeah, that's why we don't like ladders. This exact reason is why we don't like ladders. Anyway. The mod pack does very well. The Young's Better Dungeons mod does very well in making you hate the dungeon. Specifically the spider one, because that is just a giant spider cave system, and that's it. And there's a giant spider egg sack that has a spider spawner. And it's only good loot early game, but it's not worth doing early game. Redstone! We have everything. Crafting table. Do-do-do. Compass. These cobwebs. Crackstone brick. Explorer's compass in the first, like, 20 minutes. Fantastic. And now we can head straight to a stronghold. Stronghold. Oh wait, no, right. I have to look up, not the Minecraft stronghold, Young's Better stronghold. Excuse me? It's not... Okay, I know my webcam covers this. It's not wanting to search for it. Search. There we go. Right underneath the camera. 1,330, roughly. Fantastic. And we can just head over this way, and whatever we find along the way, we'll take. Arrows. Thank you. This is going great. This is fantastic. I'll take the coal. I don't know why I have the rotten flesh. I don't currently need sugarcane. I have yet to see a cow, so we'll keep the chest on me for now. And we're gonna keep heading over this way. No. I love Yahoo! Yahoo! It's so good. Yahoo! 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 What are you? It's the fuck. Is it the comp weapon? I don't know what this is. Oh, every time you destroy one of these, it spawns a skeleton. Okay. That's actually really cool. I love that. Oh. Insert Gmod. Okay, yeah. That's all I could hear in my head looking. What the hell is that on the minimap? Also, what are you? Oh, it's the clown! This is Born in Chaos. Hi, you. I'm just gonna... This is so... I'm using the bow, not the axe. Oh, there's a zombie horse. Are there any saddles here? That'd be really cool. Nod bones. I got nod bones. Okay. Holiday candy. No, not gonna bother with that. No. Cultivated pumpkin. You can use it exactly like a normal pumpkin. Okay. And intoxicating decoction. I know what this does, so... Intoxication, nausea 5. I have effects turned off, so... Oh wait, if we drink all of these, then I'll have potions, I'll have bottles, so I can make apple juice. I should start stocking up oh, there's leads. I guess you boys are going back on leads. Oh wait, no, I could keep these leads for things later, maybe. I don't have the inventory for that, so never mind. I went completely off track. We gotta go this way. I'm gonna keep those bottles for now until it proves useless. City! Until it proves useless to have them. Because I currently don't have the stuff to make... I kinda hate... I hate that. Options, physics settings. Why is there one for food? Animation, smoke. How do I get rid of it for... Off, sounds, and animation? I don't know what that'd be under. General? Alright, I guess I can't get rid of that. Oh, it's that thing. The stupid... Also, why is this so horribly generated? I imagine this was probably supposed to be a cave at some point, but oh dear. I'm ready for you, city! You ain't gonna get the best of me. I'm gonna steal your loot, whatever little I find of it. Yep. Loot, 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 loot. I'm hearing things spawn. Whoa, in here. Oh, all the bodies, no. Let's just put them out of their misery, yeah. There's not even anything in here. Hi, you. Would you like to be free? There you go. There we go. Wonderful. That got me 10 levels. But there's jack and shit in here, so... Is there... Oh, there's stuff up here. Oop. There we go. Fantastic. I'm tempted one of these days to come... That's a skeleton spawner. I'm tempted one of these days to come back to Parasites too. Because that was seriously fun. I was just horrible actually playing the mod pack. I had no whereabouts at all. Just downright bad at it. And that's already done for this. Ah, the horrid... Oh wait, can I... No. Not at all. Chicken! I hate that. I hate that so much. It's probably my offset settings. It's probably how I have the body offset. But geez, man. Also, I should start sleeping at the villages we pass by so I have some permanent bed to come back to. What do you have bread? I mean, I'll take the bread. I ain't gonna say no to a good loaf of bread. I have like not even 9 things. Bro, I have like 9 things on my shopping list, and one of them is just get a loaf of French bread. I can't see me holding up the shield like this either. Ooh, I hate that it's blast protection, but it's a helmet, so I'll take any protection. Protect this smooth cranium. Or not smooth, we don't want smooth. Protect this wrinkled cranium. I don't think I need another anvil. Let's just get rid of you and get rid of you. I'm gonna take the second furnace. What you about? Unbreaking and thorns, I'll take it. That ain't bad. I still haven't seen a damn cow. Why is this a consistency across my playthroughs? It better be the only consistency. And that's it for this one. Okay. Lovely. Do I want a water bucket clutch this? Not really, particularly. This is cursed. This is its own special kind of cursed. You're spawning, but I don't really care. Not particularly. And you're procedurally generated as all hell. I'm just gonna break through these. Anything? No, I don't care. Don't particularly care. I'm just gonna keep running through. I think unless we see something that, like, obviously has a chest in it, or anything I would like this furnace. I would like a furnace. I'll take that furnace. Goodbye. Anything else I'd obviously want? No, not really. There's a creeper over there. No, I'm going insane. Cool. About damn time. Yep. Whip. I just love the whip, 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 whip. Is this the same city? These are supposed to be rare, damn it. Cow! Cow! Bonk. I just took out his back calf. Haha, pun. Is there any more cows? I need more leather. I need like 3 more pieces. Wait. No, okay, never mind. I was wondering, cursed head? Okay, apparently that's how I make that. Good to know. I was hoping I could smelt rotten flesh for leather, and if I could, then I would have been a dumbass, but no. I just haven't gotten any leather. Which honestly, I think is worse than me being a dumbass. It's just, luck ain't on my side for this particular thing. Those tomatoes are chili peppers. Tomatoes! Tomato! Oh. Come back for your potato. I love and hate editing my own videos, because now shit I've already said is becoming a vocal stim for myself. It's my own thing. Why am I vocal stimming? Come back for your potatoes. There's a piggy. I don't need no piggy. I don't need no little piggy back from the market. Anything good in there? There's a chest, like, right there. I saw... Holy... Overload. All the overload. I don't need a name tag. I need the enchantment table in here. Can I even pick it up? Yes, I can. I don't need as much books now. And I'm hoping that we'll find a second one. Let me take this. Oh, Plants vs. Zombies music is so fitting for this moment. I don't need more I need 1 more piece of redstone for another compass later. There's a saddle in there, but I don't have the inventory. We're just gonna bust through all of these. No, nothing. Can I outrun the spider? No. No, I cannot. Nope. I've just made it worse for myself. Defend me, spider. That's a new... Whoa. That's a new meaning to body shield. Okay. Did not expect that outcome. I don't know why they go flip-flopping around so much. Out. I saw somewhere a chest. I thought I did anyway. No, I didn't. Just being a silly boy. Just being a silly goose. Goodbye, everyone. Anything for me? No. Okay, goodbye. Have a great time. I saw an enchantment table. That's a cobweb. Never mind. Herobrine, welcome back, buddy. How are you? How you doing? We're getting a lot of stuff. Have you seen any cows? Could you please kindly point me in the direction of some cows? Like, if I come close enough. Which way have you gone? Are you gone for good? I want to find some cows. I'm just gonna go in here. Maybe the cafeteria will have leather for some reason. Skelly boy, and don't care, Skelly boy. Goodbye. No, goodbye. There's nothing up here. Not a damn thing. No, I don't think so. No, goodbye. Why am I hearing a vindicator? Did some poor saps get spawned underneath here? So that's what it sounds like. I think some poor saps got spawned down there. I was really hoping I'd get a second enchantment table, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Also, does this actually continue? Or does... that looks like it continues, but I'd much rather go above ground right now. I very much so rather that. There's a sheep. I'm gonna start taking this. I don't need a lot of string. I need more wool than I need string. And I need more leather than I need string as well, but I keep getting string! No. I'd rather deal with this guy over here, actually. Nope, there we go. Well, howdy, buddy. How are you? Can I cause it again, please? No. Oh, chest. No, there's a chest. You have to let me peek. There's nothing in there. You have to let me peek the looty. Is there anything that would be on the side? Is there anything here? No. Okay. You guys are mean. I'm going to leave. I'm taking so much unnecessary damage. No. No. God! No! We already told the story, you're not getting a repeat. Why? The arrow straight up bounced off of him. I've heard of tree huggers, but this is new. Oh, cute. There's no point in it. Okay, why pumpkins? Why pumpkin pie? Okay. Seal. We're gonna... Crawdads! Lobsters, pardon. I guess I was too hopeful. There's a blue one. It's the blue lobster! Where's my green screen at? Give me the blue lobster. That's the intro to this. Just completely normal intro, and then I break it open with a blue lobster. I should do that. That would be a fantastic intro. I just break a normal block, just... Da-da-da-dun. Blue lobster. Can you please honk? I'm turning you up. Can you please honk? Oh, that wasn't the horror mod. That's Herobrine then. Oh, they stole my pumpkin pie. You don't get to live for stealing the pumpkin pie. We're gonna listen... That's horrible. We're gonna listen to the seals honk as we sleep. Can I be here for the rest of the time? Because this is great. And not nearly as annoying as actual seals. This is... Forget normal, like, forget the fruit baby stim videos. I just want a 3-hour-long VOD of somebody staring at these seals. Forget study music, I just want honking seal sounds. As they all vibe. They just live in their lives. They're adorable. Unfortunately... Of course, hiccup at the wrong time. Unfortunately, I have to go kill a dragon. Where are we going? This way. Yep. Let me go. There's pumpkins, but I don't need no pumpkins. There's a supply crate. I see that on the minimap. I see that on the minimap. Don't you there it is. I see you. I saw you. Are you not a supply crate? You look like a supply crate. What are you then? I've never seen this ever. I have never once seen this building. This is the most homey of starter bases. This is adorable. I'm not going to use it, but that's downright adorable. Also, why is there just... Why is there just... this? What's over here? And what's that? There's so many things going on that I don't understand. It's a whale. Is that a mine shaft that I'm seeing over here? Because this is a kind of mountainous area. Okay, that's that. It is a mine shaft. Okay. I think we'll actually go down that. I know it's like a complete detour, but I could get iron. I need to place a water bucket down for this, and I need to go refill these, preferably. Because I have 0 water on me right now, and I am not comfortable. Also, because of the jumping animations I have, if we fall down too far, I actually get slower. It's very brief, but it does in fact happen. And when this axe is broken, I'm not sure if I want to make an iron one or not. I've been using this as my main weapon, but I'm not currently collecting wood. And I could absolutely make a better weapon. I could use the very little leather I have to make a pole and then make some sort of weapon out of that. I could have an iron glaive. I could work with that. There's so much of this missing. Like, all of these leaves have decomposed. I think that's because of the falling tree mod I have, though. So how terrible does this look? So the entirety of this is supposed to be leaves. Yeah, I'm not sure what I expected. Is there any loot for me? There's a little bit right here. I'm hearing things spawn, though. Oh, don't even think about it. Yeah, we're not going down there. That has that's where the cave spider ones are. The cave spider spawners. We're not dealing with that. We're at -30. Almost -40, so I may be able to go about getting some diamonds. And then I can make my diamond glaive to help us really bust through the stronghold. I don't even have an iron pick, so I should make that, actually. Let's go down this one, see what it does. Because these can have... Oh, I hate you. No, but... These... There we go, this is what it's supposed to look like. This is what you're supposed to do. These have coal... or Yeah, that's a coal deposit. These have ore deposits at the end of them, which can, in fact, include... Oh, wait! I might save this. This is a zombie villager spawner specifically. That's not zombie villager. That's not how you spell any of that. Spawner. Yes. There we go. Yeah, that's... There we go. You can see it a little bit. And then there's like a chest. There's a barrel there. But he can't reach us. Golden apple, torches. Yeah, because I've been running around with 0 torches either, because we have Fulbright this time. Which has saved me a ton of resources. Boop. No. Am I allowed to place a water bucket somewhere? Thank you. Anything in here? No, just cobble. But these can... It's a small chance, but these can have diamonds. And even if they don't, there might be a chance that I go down a tunnel that has diamonds anyway. No. Something's burning down there. I'm picking up so many saplings that I do not want. At all. In the slightest. Also, do we want to place our bets? I don't think it happened last time. But how long is it going to take for me to find the deep dark? Oh no, it did happen last time! I found it in the stronghold! That's lapis, but I don't need that, actually. That's coal. You're just cobblestone, unless... No, just cobblestone. If I go down here, that's just another cross that way. I can go up, though. Nice. I'm so tired of picking up these saplings. So sick of it. Why am I placing down it? I don't know why I'm placing down the furnace. I really don't. This is gonna literally only give me 1 diamond, but... I'll have a diamond. I'll have the diamond. Can I do anything with a singular diamond? I can make a dagger. Or a short sword. Or a diamond stiletto. I can't make a rapier. I can't make a katana. Definitely can't do a greatsword. Definitely can't do a longsword. Can't do a twin blade. Ooh, I might go for a twin blade. Or a two-hand... Or... I don't know how to say that. Zweihander? Zweihander? Battle axe. I definitely can't make that one. Glaive is what we usually do because of the attack damage to attack speed. I can make a spear. That is a throwing one, though. I know that. Diamond halberd, can't make it. Diamond pike, I can make that, but I don't have the leather to make 2 poles. So I can make a dagger, short sword, or nothing. Oh, I should actually make another axe, because that's kind of important. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do with this singular piece of iron. What the hell am I hearing? I swear, like, I'm hearing my cat taking a bath somewhere. Slowly fall down. There we go. Oh, you're over there! Yes, I'll let you go. Alright. Nope. Nope. Out. This way. Nope. I need to be careful where I fall to. Cause I love these mods. I don't think some of these mods fit together as well as they could probably do. How did I miss these? Wait, can I make my beloved glaive? I can make my beloved glaive now. I can make a halberd. And I'm really that's 10 attack speed for 0.7. Oh, that's even slower than the glaive. No, I'm sticking with the glaive. Absolutely sticking with the glaive. Plus, that's only 2 diamonds. That was a whole 8. And negative 38! The streaming gods are smiling upon me tonight. Hello. Welcome to the stream, streaming gods. I'm glad to have you here. That is fantastic. Yep. Anything else scrumptious going around here? No. It's still going up? Let me break free. Wanna go? Wanna leave? I don't have the room to make my glaive, unfortunately. I would love to. Currently can't. I could drop the bottles, actually. Let's inventory management. Drop that. Don't need shears. Everything else I will keep. I'm gonna take the I have a singular piece of raw beef that I'm not using and currently can't use. So let's do this. Pole, glaive, weapon. And then let's go about this. There we go. Far from organized, but it's a little bit better. Especially when I'm hearing so many mobbies chilling around me. Oh, that. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. Something's spawning around me. I'm gonna keep moving. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I think that's the cue to leave, everyone. I think that is our sign that we are good. We have been given what we were supposed to have. My phone is going off. And we are just fine right where we are. We shouldn't be greedy. We don't need much more than what we have. I think we're okay. Really. I don't think we need anything else in life. We are just fine. Oh, we're only 800 away from the stronghold now. Fantastic. I'm gonna keep the water there. I still hate how this looks. Absolutely despise it. Also, I love that how it just looks like the bed does a flip into my hand every single time that I break it. Go! Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Singular piece of leather. You will drop arrows. No, you drop string. Okay. And no skelly. And I need to continue following the compass. I want cows. Cows, cows, cows. There's something up ahead. Is it cows? Please be cows. Those are pigs. Okay. Can I get leather in the stronghold at least? Because that would be fantastic. I need a backpack. I need a backpack like Ace. Oh yeah, you can... Yeah, this is why we're keeping... This is why I keep the camera overhaul. This is literally why. Just so I can see my glaive. That's the only and one main reason I'm keeping it. What the hell is this? What are you? Are you a rail system? You're a rail system! Okay. I don't know how helpful that is for us. So I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah, there's the city right there. Fantastic. Cool. Do I want to go in and see if they have any... I can get an enchantment table in the stronghold. We keep going. Cow. Cows. Oh, I would have missed the cows if I went for the city. Oh. I haven't seen one of these yet. I added animal mods, so if you look for a second... This guy's smaller. That guy's bigger. This is a very small chance. It's an overweight baby cow. I'm gonna wait for it to grow up. We're gonna wait around for it to grow up. I think. Because... if we wait around for that, overweight... Ooh. Okay, buddy. If we wait for it to grow up, it gives us extra. It will give us extra resources. Also, look at... yeah, there are a couple spawn rates. This is one of them. There you go. Average sized. Why do I have a single piece of stone brick? Well, I know why, but why am I keeping it? If I'm gonna get a book elsewhere, enchantment table elsewhere, I don't need to keep it in my inventory. I don't have the stuff to make another compass for the nature's compass. I refuse to get rid of the pumpkin pie in case we find the Pembroke corgi. I could get rid of the bones if we need. Have you ever stood next to a cow? I have raised them and... I've raised them. Oh, there's a missing comma. I raised them. They're massive for no reason. So real. I have enough to make backpacks. I have enough to make one. I think a sophisticated backpack is going to help us out more right now. Because both of them take the same amount of leather. It's just a difference of, am I using wool or not? Yeah, this is going to help us out more. Because the first useful backpack, the first useful backpack is like 15 slots. This is just a singular chest size. So let's do this and shove the very important stuff in here. With some organization. Kind of, not really. Let's do this. Something like that. And then I'll keep the compass on me because we kind of need it on me. This, that, like that, that. Beautiful. And then we can pop that on my back. Oh, I could put that in my chest slot? Okay. I was gonna just put it in my back slot. There we go. He still is, like, several minutes of growing up. Would it be with it? I'm just gonna stick. Two stick. I'm just gonna stay. If I go to that building, is that within range? If I go to one of those, I feel like that could be within range. Perhaps, but I'm not entirely sure of that fact. Because I would love, I am 99% positive if I kill this baby cow right now, it's not going to give me a damn thing. I should have kept that lead. I don't have any slime. I have doubts that this building will give me anything, but I'm gonna try. Also, because I got rid of all the creepy structures. I think this building might be from Lost Cities and not from anything else. I thought this building was probably like a part of one of the horror mobs mods, but I don't think it is. Baby cow? Overweight baby cow still there. Fantastic. Okay. We're gonna take this, and then I need to cut down a tree. Apples, why not? How many saplings? 3. I need 4. Also, what is this plant? Soybean. Sweet potato. There's some I really recognize. There's some I just flat out don't. Oranges. Orange. Aren't you glad I streamed? Burp. 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 I only need 4 saplings. And then... oh, look at little legs waddling. That's adorable. We make a compass. We surround it with wood. And then we surround all that with saplings. Nature's compass. Fantastic. Boop, boop, boop. And now I have a little extra wood. And some apples and oranges if I so feel it. Which I do. I'm just going to eat them so I can get them out of my inventory. How long? 800 seconds. We've only killed 100 seconds. You know what else I can do? Because I saw it. There's crows flying around, yeah? Oh, hey, Herobrine, how are you? There's crows flying around. You can tame them, quote-unquote, with pumpkin seeds. There's pumpkins right here. There's a lot of things I can do in this little area, and that's kind of funny. Pumpkin seeds. The most delicious thing. So good. Love them. Crow? Crows? I've been hearing you. Would you like to come back? There you are. Hi, you are gorgeous. Would you like? Would you like? Yeah, would you like? You wanna take another one? It's... oh, there we go! Yeah! Yeah! Can I have 2 crows? Can I pull Rick and Morty? Can I have 2 crows? Take. 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 Yeah! Fantastic. I'm not sure. It says owner. Can I not have multiple? Staying, wandering, following. And I'm assuming you're following. Can I have both of them on my shoulders? Come on. Come on. Come on. Yes! Fantastic. How much time have I killed? Another 100 seconds. Wonderful. Gotta love it. Great character improvement, though. Love this. Hey, Herobrine, have you seen my crows? They're better than you ever were. Okay, Rick and Morty bit over. You just gonna sit there and watch us sleep? That's kind of weird, bro. Can you at least, like, turn towards the catfish or something? Also, those catfish are huge. Like, I understand catfish can grow big, but damn. This is a little weird, bro. I just... what? Okay, apparently I stand when I sleep now. Is the cow done growing? Overweight, but it's still 100. Herobrine, seriously, F off. I do not want you possessing this cow. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care, bro. Bye-bye. Thank you. I do not need you possessing this cow. I am not losing out when I've waited here for almost 500 seconds. Eat a few apples. I ate all my oranges. And then 1 apple filled up the rest. Okay, great. I should make armor. But I want to make armor, but I also don't. Because I feel like... if I make armor and then regret it, I could instead use those diamonds to craft some tools, because I could absolutely get diamond armor in the stronghold. Is the one regret I have right now. And I could smelt, and I can only smelt diamond armor back for 1 diamond. This is a mod, but I can do that. But that is not worth me spending the 8 diamonds to make a chestplate right now. Also, there's a diamond termite shard. Oh yeah, these stupid idiots. Sometimes when you mine diamonds, it's actually diamond, termite diamond, infected diamond ore. So they'll drop diamond shards and you have to take diamond shards to craft a diamond. That sucks, I hate them. Thankfully, because we have Jade, it'll like tell me if it's an infected diamond. This guy he's just... He knows. He knows I am just waiting for him to grow up. He's so chunky though, I love it. It's fantastic. He's just chunky. What else could I kind of need cobblestone, so let's get some while we wait the next 500 seconds out for this stupid guy to grow up. Cool! I'll take that. I'll take that. Happily all the time. Give me all the fuel. I'm not sure what I want to do for a base. My thought is I want to go, even though we're not doing spooky anymore, I would love to go like a full Victorian, like starter house sized, and I mean this literally, not like a huge base. Starter house sized, like little Victorian manor. It's kind of like Coraline, but way smaller. That kind of vibe of a house. That kind of era, I should specify. And that got me a stack of cobblestone, and the cow, I bet, is still not grown up, because there's no way in hell that was 500 seconds. How much time you got? I'd even blast through another 100. What else is around here? There's another city that way. There's a room portal over there, but I'm scared of going too far away from the stupid cow, and I don't have any leads. And I don't have any wheat. And it would seriously be worth me getting the leather from this guy. Rivermint. Why are these? Why are marigolds part of Born in Chaos? Apparently it's part of that, and you get orange dye from them. Okay. Why do you need a marigold for that, though? Let's acquaint myself with my mods real quick. Because I don't think I've added anything super Oh, there's a single netherite shield right there. There's progressive shields. I'm not going to really use those because I should get rid of mine actually because of the glaive. And I never genuinely end up using a shield even when I do have it. There's all the types of NPCs. We have customizable elytra, which basically I can put trims on elytras and also dye them. Backport for the tough blocks. Then this is all handcrafted stuff. I could get a phantom trophy. There's a lot of trophies you can make. And they all don't actually require like anything related to it. It's just loosely correlated. Like chiselstone bricks gets you silverfish. You get a goat horn, it gets a goat trophy, which yeah, that one makes sense. Creeper head, which yeah, skull head. If you want to get a vindicator, you just need an axe though. If you want a pillager, you just need a crossbow. Evoker, you have to use a whole ass totem, and I have my blahages, of course. A witch, you need a glass bottle. You just need a glass bottle. I don't know what the hammer is for. Change the look of blocks. Okay, I don't exactly know what that means, but it's a thing. Also, there's cushions, and if you put down a cushion, it looks like a poof. Or puff, or poof? I'm pretty sure it's poof. It looks like a little pillow chair. Ducky mask. I can make a ducky mask. A lot of isopod molts and some string. Do I still have At some point, I have cosmetic armor. We could absolutely get a ducky mask. Yeti crab fluff. What could that possibly be used for? Yeti feeders. Slowly restores hunger when the wearer is in water or rain. That would be really good in Guardian, Ocean Monuments. Guardian Farm, yep. What? Bucket of shame-faced crab. And then this is all the chip mod stuff. There's a lot. About like 50 pages of this is just chip mod. That's the only thing. Oh wait, hold on, pumpkins. I need to show these. Because most of these are actually Undertale faces, and I love it. Like, that's Undertale, that's Undertale, that's Undertale, that's just straight up Sans. Those two are Undertale. Like, 5 of these are Flowey, by the way. That's Flowey, that's Flowey. This one's Flowey, this one's Flowey, this one's Flowey. It's just all Flowey states. And then there's the Tem face as well, and then Sans. And that's another Tem face, and that one just straight up says boo. And there's also different there's a purple pumpkin. There's an end pumpkin. There's also a white, overgrown white pumpkin. Or overgrown lumpkin is what it says. Dirty goldkin. Kabochkin? Nether pumpkin. Dukin, dirty dukin. Autumnkin. Those are all gorgeous, by the way. Oh, there's different types of vines. I never noticed that one before. I need to find a way to use more of this. I rarely use chipped mod, and it's usually heavily modded, and I'm more focused on gameplay than any builds. Oh, here's Sons of Sin stuff. I just want Golber. Where's the guy? Where's the baby? There he is! Look at him! He's very cute. How you make thing... You need a sickle to kill things. You need soul seal to make the sickle. In order to make that, you have to get iron and ether. Ether drops from various of the Born in Chaos or Sons of Sin's mobs. Or ether ashes, dust and you shall return. Mob drop. I swore there was another way to get this, but I don't remember it. But I know how you get the meat. You have to use the sickle. The meat for this, you have to use the sickle. I can make Otis sorts. I should have made this entire time. I have bones and string. I could have made an entire set of bone tools. 5, or actually, let's compare the pickaxe. 3, 1.2, 3, 4. 4, 1.2, 4, 6. Okay, I'm already better. Iron's better than that. You still have 100 seconds? You chunky boy? You suck. Also, I'm turning down the friendly creature sounds. I don't know why blocks are at 48 and not 50. What is... Block of slime rear. Block of Enderman muscles. Block of Strider muscles. Block of Ravager muscles. Block of Blazing Hearts. Spider Hearts. Ice Heart. Okay. Ether Engine can corrupt the purest... I've never... His name is Kelvin. This is what happens when too many Home Alone 2 movies... This is what happens when too many Home Alone movies are made. He had to add an L. Oh, his head! It's broken in half. I'd even notice that. He had to add an L to his name. Butcher Cleaver. Oh, wait. Oh, I think I got rid of the mod. One of the mods I had. My favorite. No, I still have it. Which mod is it? There's a mod that gives... Is it, Born in Chaos. There's a mod that gives me the best weapon. I use it all the time in creative. Whereas I'm skipping over everything to find this. Yes! The Supreme Measure. It's 5,000 attack damage, but you can only get it in creative. It is fantastic. Spawn structure firewall, lookout tower, dark tower, farm, clown cart, mound hounds, soulbreaker. There's a pumpkin pistol. I know this one. Lord Pumpkinhead. I need to actually, like, stop avoiding it. I want to go spawn then this pumpkin guy. Because he's like a multi-layered boss fight. I know that. If we ever find this little pumpkin head, like the one I'm hovering under, if we ever see that, that's the boss fight. Staff of magic arrows. Oh yeah, yeah. I know I've seen this guy once. I just can't remember how or where. Soulbane. What do you drop from? Lord Pumpkinhead. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Lord Pumpkinhead's lamp. RMB on the block to summon the Felsteed. That sounds cool as hell. I must kill Lord Pumpkinhead just for that. You're overweight. You are a fully grown cow now. And you don't get to possess him. Yeah, too bad. You suck. Haha. I got 3 leather out of that. If I couldn't have a lisp when I'm saying leather for one time, please, that'd be fantastic. Sorry, did I drop you? Did I drop you guys? I'm so sorry. Are you guys gonna follow? Will you come along? Y'all land? What should we name these guys? Saro Pharaoh? I don't know. I really don't know what to name them, genuinely. That guy's charging. I'm gonna avoid him. Why did you pick up the beef? Okay. I'm naming you Cow and Pumpkin now. Or wait, I want to get a... Well, we don't have to get the corgi. I don't have to name the corgi cow. I would love to... I really want to name... I could always name him Beef. I could name him Beef and Pumpkin. Oh my god, you're so tiny. Oh my god, you're tiny. Sorry, guys. You're tiny. Oh, I feel so bad about this. Kind of. Are they trying to land? There we go. Boop. And, why not? I'll keep the beef. Big boy! Begin! Oh. 1 leather out of that. Alright, we got leather now. Carrying on our way. Hopefully this doesn't get rid of them. Good. Fantastic. Less than 200, almost 200 away. Fantastic. Great. I want to avoid that guy if I can. Just don't mind me, sir. I'm gonna gallop over here. I really don't want to name him Beef and Pumpkin. I like Pumpkin for the other one. Can I name the other one Murder? I think that's kind of funny. A little pun. Pumpkin and meat. I don't know. I really like Pumpkin. I want to do something with the beef that this guy has. I could name him Beefy. I'm fine with Beefy. I think that's funnier. Instead of just Beef. Just name him Beefy. The biggest crow you ever did. There's another thing over there. I'm gonna go check it out. The last time that gave me diamonds. I will happily get distracted and go check that out. Oh, yoink. I find it infinitely funnier them ragdolling than just disappearing. It is so much better. Infinitely better every time. Oh, sorry, Pumpkin! I just need to get in here. I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Beefy. Okay, let's reconvene in here. Okay, great. Door in there. Nothing that I want. Great, okay. Stopped for nothing. I don't really like... Beefy's funny, but I don't really... Pumpkin is sweet. Pumpkin's a sweet name. What the hell do I name the other one? Because I don't want to call him Ether One. I really don't want to do that. So what the hell do I name him? Carnivore? I could name him Carney. I'm fine. I'm good with that. Carney's cute enough. If you don't think about the rest of the name. He could be named Carnegie Hall for all you know. He's Carney. I'm happy with that. That's a good one. Oh. Nope, no. Please tell me. Okay, it's this spot, not the tree. I don't have any waystones for this. I've yet to see another village. I don't have a single waystone to get back here. I haven't been to the Nether. Let's think about this for a second, guys, yeah? Let's consider our options, huh? I don't have any ender pearls. I haven't gone to the Nether for blaze rods. I don't have a waystone. So I can't get back to the stronghold easily, either. What do you think? What do you think? This is what I do behind the screen every time I do one of these movements. Every time I do something like this on Passion SMP, this is what I am behind the screen. I'm just existing here. I do love this animation though. Also, there's a cow back there behind me. Yeah. I'm happy we... Oh, what was I... How did I hit that? Hi, Herobrine. How did I crouch like that? Oh, it's set to Z. Oh, that's the sneak button. Crouch. I don't have a good button for that. You know what? I'm willing to move free cam. Where's free cam? Where's free cam? It's up in miscellaneous, isn't it? No, it's up here. Let me change you to B, you to V. Oh no, the offset. Oh, the offset ruins it. But hey, at least I know that's how I sneak around. Alright, Pumpkin, are you gonna land? So I'm gonna do this, so I know, hey, it's right here. Let me put a little waypoint down here. Oop, there you go. This exact spot. Stronghold. I would love to go to the end of this time, but I just literally do not have the resources to do it immediately. What the hell is that? What blocks are those? Hay bales. And then that's a building. That's dark oak blocks. Okay. I want to check out that because that's like the only interesting thing we've really seen. Drop all that. And remove waypoints. There we go. Fantastic. I want to find a lava pool that I can use. You guys aren't fun. Is that what I'm heading towards? Yes, that's exactly what I'm heading towards. Okay, never mind. We're not doing that. And you have nothing in it. Okay. We're kind of re-going through territory at this point. Villages? Villages? Village. I want to go specifically to not villages overworld. Source. Is it repurpose structures? What is it under? Not additional structures. I don't want to go to the Towns and Towers one. I know I have better villages in here. Piglin Village, no, that's another. Is it repurpose structures? I think that might be correct. Oh, I don't want to go specifically Village Badlands. I wanted to search group. Village Badlands. Search group. Nearby. Continuing this way. Hi, Herobrine. Continue this way. We can steal their waystone and then come back. I should be stealing more waystones from villages I go to. I haven't seen any, though. That's really throwing... Oh. Well. Let me just mark that. That's not... There we go. Lava pool. No, white. There we go. Beautiful. So we'll come back here for the nether portal. I need waystones first, though. I need to be able to place a waystone. Hello, you. I need to be able to place a waystone in the nether. And also place a waystone at the... at the stronghold. Too many leather. Come on, you two. We keep going. I would seriously love to hit the stronghold this... I want to... Oh, I should have grabbed the sweet berries. Oh, I should have grabbed sweet berries. We're next to a biome that has them, right? I will have all the pets this time, please. I will leave them in the overworld while I go do my badass shit. And then I'll come back and love on them and make rooms for all of them. There's not gonna be any sweet berries nearby, is there? I don't think there will be. Wonderful, okay. Dreams are... What? I want to get Princess, though. Okay, hold on. So, the issue with this thing is it spawns lava guys. It spawns like basically lava beetles. I just want... Nope. Stay. Stay. Both of you stay, because this is dangerous. These guys are lava beetles. But they're easily... Yeah. You can just wreck them with water. Yeah. Firelights, that's what they're called. But we need to go to that lava well. I have not seen one since I played... Ooh. What? Firelight dust. Bottle of magical energy. I can make fire charges out of that. Smelt 17.5 items. Okay, I am from now on keeping those. I had no clue that could be used for smelting. Where even was that thing? I saw it, I forgot where it was. Over here. So I can see more of the torch bugs. Let's move like all of you over here. Yeah, this is a good spot. Yeah. Yeah. We love to see it. Fantastic. And I'm going to be using that absolutely for fuel. And then we're going to be replacing that. And underneath this has dark metal deposits. That's the only reason. Oh, yeah, I forgot there's a chest. It's the #1 reason. I'll take more firelight dust. And coal, of course. Bounce. What do you... This is blaze powder! Okay. Oh, it gets me 10 bone meal. I can make a block out of it for some reason. I can make the Bone Scalar Staff. If I get an Orb of the Summoner. It doesn't tell me how to get an Orb of the Summoner. Okay. I can use it for a lot of things, actually, but I don't currently need that. Oh, these are blocks of coal. Okay. I'll take it. And then I want the dark metal. Save for later. Okay, cool. Great. Fantastic stuff. Is there another... Those are just two random crows. Okay. My crows? My guys? Yeah, okay. Gathering, wandering, following. Gathering, wandering, following. Fantastic. I need to sleep. Cool. What is happening in the southeast end? What is that down there? What is this? My cat is demanding in the room. Meow. You poor thing. Yeah, hi. You poor thing. Oh, it's just so horrible. It's just so mean. There you go. You're so mean. Oh, so horrible to you. You haven't been fed treats since this morning. Even though you have dry food and wet food all day. It's just the worst. Yeah, he's going to eat his dry food. Oh yeah, that's definitely lava. Okay. I have that a little too high up. 800. I'm tempted to go through here, but I don't actually care. So we're just gonna keep on moving. We keep on grooving. Oh, nope. Don't jinx it, ever. Just don't. Oop. I got a cow head! Can I put that on cosmetically? Yes, I can. You know what? This is... No. No. No, absolutely not. It's funny. It's hilarious that I even got it, because I'm pretty sure that's a low chance because of how often you have to kill cows in the game. But... let's just go up and then over the structure. Hi, Herobrine. How are you? Lovely to see you, but not really. Are you gonna be horrible in here? I would assume so by the iron doors. No, you're completely normal. Not even a damn thing in there. There's an enchantment table right there. We're ignoring you here, Brian. There's an enchantment table. Right here. Now I just need 3 obsidian and 3 gold. I already have the 3 gold. What the hell? That's a biggin' boy. That's a big boy. I want to know what that guy is. What are you, sir? You are gorgeous. That is also a catfish. Why are you... This is the random generator. It gave me a... That's a giant catfish. That's not even an overweight one. That's just a giant catfish. That's just a normal ass catfish. We got one boy. I don't know why you have a stick. I shouldn't give them name tags. So I can actually remember who's Pumpkin and who's Carney. I like that a lot. That actually really sticks. That doesn't match or rhyme at all, but I do like Pumpkin and Carnivore. Or, it's not cannibalism, but that's a scaly skull. Where did the other boy go? We lost him. Where did the other crow go? I don't know who's who anymore. I'm gonna go based off of personality. Pumpkin's probably the one with me. Seriously, where's the other one? I dropped them off, like, right here. Excuse me? Why would I be missing a crow? Herobrine, did you do something? Don't tell me the curse of the pets has been carried over. Because the moment they had proper names that I liked, I lost one. Alright, we'll see how long Pumpkin lasts then. I've done my... Not exactly... I knew the catfish wouldn't be dangerous, so I didn't bother making sure like they're hella far away and safe. This is a watchtower over here. I'm gonna... I know there's a bed up there, so I'm gonna place a spawn point there. Or not necessarily place a spawn point, I'm just gonna set my spawn point to the bed here, so we have a backup in the future. Little skunk. Little skunks. Boop. Boop. Flight 3. Spyglass. Empty maps. Paper. I just like the noise. Isn't there... Can I get... Doesn't count. There is an achievement for, like, looking at a parrot through a spyglass. Called Can I get down, Pumpkin, please? Thank you. Hi, Herobrine. How are you? Goodbye. We're carrying on. Pumpkin? Pumpkin? Thank you. I don't know what the hell happened to Carney. Like, you would think it would tell me, oh, pet died. But nothing happened. Because it does say, like, owner mutation CIP. Or, pardon, mutation CIP, because I haven't bothered to fix the incorrect spelling yet. Wait, where is even... It's sending me to a swamp village, of course. But it didn't say anything. He's just gone. I don't know. I'm not gonna worry over it too much. There's a room portal over there. That might have obsidian is the only reason I'm going to it. Oh, that one would have a treasure chest, huh? Let's leave you down there so I can go into water. Swim? I can't swim. It's not swimming. That's kind of an issue. And there's no chest here. Like, it's acting like I'm swimming like that. What are you? Are you a flying fish? You're a flying fish. It's not swimming. It acts like I am, but it doesn't. Kind of worth it, kind of not. Okay. Oop. Oh, crows it. Pumpkins in the boat. That's great. And carrying on. Almost there, though. I keep eye out for other things. Yeah, just keep boating offhand. Also, my computer is not happy. Oh! Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Are we back? Has stream crashed at all? I should check that, actually. So my computer is screaming. It's still 1 VOD, okay. I'll trust it. I'll trust it. I'll believe in what it wants me to. What are these? Are these cranberries? Cranberry crop. Cranberries. What can I make? Can I make cranberry juice? I don't actually like cranberries, but can I make I can make cranberry juice. I can make a fruit smoothie. I can also make fruit cakes with it. I don't like cranberries, but that's really cool. I haven't like mentioned this in a while. I have a catchphrase that's on most of my social medias, and it's just like there's a method to the madness, and that method is cranberries. What are you? Are you? You're current. I think that's like literally the only or one of the 3 or so crops that are actually in the swamp. I don't know if this version has Croptopia. There is a Croptopia achievement. Really plain seeds, undried seeds. I have to get those first, apparently. But there are only like 2 or 3 kinds of seeds in the swamps. What's going on over here? Just a bunch of bull? Great. I've not been following this for a hot minute. Good, because that's already here. We're already here. Easy as that. This is actually really cool. I do like this design. Oh, I forgot about the designs for the... Teresa, hi. I forgot the designs for these. Also, I'm stealing this. And something I realized I was really dumb about in the previous run was I can absolutely smelt a lot of stuff through the super smelter, the blast smelter, because of the mods I have. Come on. There we go. There's a huge... I could smelt glass through the blast furnaces. That's a mod I have. I could have done that this entire time. It's mostly just... There's a waystone. It's mostly just... What? Oh, frog! That's a tiny frog. I'm stealing this. And boop. Oh, wait, here's the other artichoke. That's the other swamp thing, I think. I'm not sure why it's not giving me achievement. I would hope it would, but apparently it's just not. And then this... I will take the slime ball, actually. Wait, can I make a lead now? If for whatever reason I need one in the future. I don't actually... I've never, like, crafted a lead. There we go. For whatever reason in the future, if I so need, I can use a little lead. I've genuinely never crafted leads. That's hilarious. They have their own version of frogs. Oh my god, that's adorable. That sounds not. I'll take more bread. I will happily take more bread. Let me look at these frogs. I'm assuming this is Alex's. No, this is Ambient Additions. That's a funny ass version of a frog, though. Can't even reach me. Oh, is this the other one I'm missing? There we go. Watery seeds. Asparagus. I knew it was only a few. There's not a lot. I think that's it really here. There's a smoker in there, but we don't care about that. There's a slime right there. I'm tempted to kill it so we could get more leads. Hi, Herobrine. So we could get more leads if we wanted to, but I don't care enough is the problem. I just want to in the rare chance that I need leads like I wanted earlier. Cartographer! No compass, though, and way too late. Also, I'm adjusting in my chair. There's a snake right there. I see you, sir. Oh, yeah, bad thing. Very bad. I'm gonna go up here. What? What? Also, huh? Did you just decide that's your house now, buddy? Where's the book? I'm positive this is Alex's. That's the Leviathan. I know that one well enough. Where's the snake? How is that not? There's no way that's not an Alex mob. There's no way it's not. No way. That is so an Alex mob. Roadrunner, Bone Serpent. Dwells in deep lava lakes of the Nether. Wonderful. There's rattlesnakes? Komodo dragon, blobfish. Wonderful. Hammerhead shark, gorilla, crocodile, sunbird. Sunbirds are beautiful. Warped toad. Shoebill! You're adorable. Where are these guys? Found in swamps, that's why I haven't seen them. Snow leopard, specter, crow. We know crow very well. Mungus. Mungi are strange fungal creatures found in the mushroom fields. There's no way this is not based on Among Us. There's not a single chance. These odd creatures are relatives of the Guardian and Strider and are visually similar to them. Unlike their Guardian ancestors, Mungi are completely passive. Occasionally, they can be seen with a mushroom growing out of the mycelium coat that covers them. If fed more of the same mushroom, more mushrooms will take root on the mungus. With one or more mushrooms, Mungi will fire a beam similar to a Guardian's at a nearby mushroom of the same type. They will use this to grow more of that type of mushroom. If the mushroom is over mycelium, it may become a giant mushroom. This will exhaust the mungus and lower the amount of mushrooms on it. If slain with 5 mushrooms on their back, the mungus will erupt with a violent explosion and convert the local area into the biome pertaining to their fungus. For red and brown mushrooms, the mushroom fields, and for crimson and warped fungus, that completely cuts off the page, the crimson and warped forest, respectively. The conversion of a biome can be undone by feeding a mungus a poisonous potato. Mungi can be bred with mungal spores, which are occasionally dropped by mungi every few days. That doesn't explain the snake. I don't know why I read all of that. I'm looking for the snake. There's no way it's not. There's a whole mantis shrimp. I'm still concerned about this mosquito thing. Stradpole. Voidworm, tarantula hawk, tiger, bald eagle, that thing that I'm not going to bother reading. Cosmic cod. Found in the void between end islands, including the main island of the end. Unlike any other fish known, cosmic cod are hydrophobic and damaged by water. Instead, they float through the ether of the end in decently sized schools. I love that. That's so cool. Toucan. Seagull, we hate those. I know the Leviathan. What do you mean the squid? Devil's Hole pupfish. World's rarest fish due to their tiny range. These pupfish can only spawn within underground aquifers in a single chunk in the overworld. To find the chunk that Devil's Hole pupfish call home, you will need to craft a strange fish finder like so. Slime balls? I don't know the fuck that is. And some sort of compass in the middle. The device will send out a sound wave in the direction of the chunk. Once you find the pupfish, you may notice them chasing each other around. This is where they get their name from, as behavior is reminiscent of puppies playing. Pupfishes subsist by eating muck off the surface of submerged mossy blocks. Occasionally, while pecking at these blocks, they can dislodge a slime ball. Occasionally, they will reproduce with other pupfish after feeding on moss. Devil's Hole pupfish can be bucketed like any other fish. Catfish, flying fish, scalawag, bun fungus. That's just a chungus. Did they literally just all of the meme ones are in the mushroom biomes? That's just chungus. Anaconda. There we go. Gigantic aggressive snakes found in swamp biomes. Massive appetite will attempt to eat almost anything it could wrap around. Snake ambushes its prey, wraps around its body around it, and slowly suffocates the prey until before swallowing it whole. Since these are swallowed whole, animals slain by anaconda do not drop any items. Anaconda can be pacified and bred with chicken. Of course it can. The skin can be used to create a unique banner pattern or used to craft a vine lasso. The lasso could be thrown to capture any mob, including hostiles similar to the lead. However, the vine lasso cannot be tied to fences like the lead. It's quite useful in transporting unfriendly creatures. I'm sorry, bro. I don't have any chicken, though. Also, you're in there a little funky. I don't know why I spent so long reading that. I genuinely spent, like, the entire Minecraft day reading that. Oh, right. You. I'm just gonna... Yeah. Maybe we just gonna... Crow, what are you doing? Don't do that, please. Oh, dear. Oh, Jellycat just spawned in. Crow, I adore you. I don't want you getting hurt. Staying, gathering items, wandering. I'll leave you to wander. I don't want you getting hurt. If I get like any other animal, they can just roam. I don't want them getting hurt. Also, I got a waystone now. So I guess we can head back. I would prefer multiple, but I'm okay with one. I have not seen a single wild waystone this entire time. Which is a little concerning, because usually I see them like damn near immediately. I've only seen one prior to this village. Artichoke. Artichoke is so good. I love it. Just dip that in some melted butter. Hell yeah. All I need. Melted butter. Alligator snapping turtle hisses. We're gonna keep moving. I was gonna slow down a second to drink water and exist as a human, but I gotta exist as a speedrunner for like this is not a speedrun. I gotta exist as a Minecraft player for like 2 seconds and think about, you know, surviving. Oh, there's a village up here. Loot. Oh, this is a perfect ice. What do you mean, I spy? Did we genuinely come across another stronghold? That's a catfish. What the... What? What do you mean, I spy? Is this a version of a strong... Yes, it is. Oh my... Of course, there's an amethyst in the middle of it. It's not a modded stronghold unless there's an amethyst that has broken it. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm just looking at the mini-map and trying to figure out how the hell I'm gonna get down there. You all have charcoal. I do not care. What is this room? Also, water is breaking apart this entire place. This is just a room of pumpkins. What? That's a room of hay bales. What? That's a skelly. We don't care about no skelly. Oh no, what the fuck's happening here? This is so broken. This is broken in so many... No, 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 no. This is broken in so many ways. And I hear silverfish. And this didn't even spawn in right. No words. Not... No words at all. I'm... gobsmacked. That's a word. That's how I feel right now in my life. Why not? Let's sleep. Why not? I mean, you know, just why not? Yeah, why not? Why not sleep? I love that they have, like, bunk bedrooms, though. That's great. This is just a random corridor. Kinda, yeah. Okay. How the hell do I get down to that thing? I would assume it this way, yes? Thank you, Kofi Bot. I need to use Kofi more. What the hell? What the hell? Just get rid of that. What? 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 I'll take it, but God... I'll take it. No complaints here, Your Honor. I'll take it. Again, what? I'll take the golden apple. What? This is like the first time I played with Young's mods. What the hell? What was that loot? What was that? I hear a witch and I'm not happy about it. What do you mean diamonds? I'm taking them, but what do you mean diamonds? You've given me an entire set of armor. I'll take it. It's iron armor, but I'll take it. What? What do you mean? What do you mean? What? I'm taking it, especially the food and ender pearls. Is there even a way? This. What? What? I will happily take everything I can, but god damn. I'll take it. I'll take it. Yep. Thank you. Yep. I do actually want the extra arrows. That's very good. Tis is very good. Very good. Very good. I missed a golden apple. That's more ways down. So we want to go to that later. This is more ways around. Pray tell, what is in here? Yep. I'm not sure what I expected. Yeah, that. Yeah. I'll take all that. Thank you. I'm getting farther and farther away from the correct space. Go down, because that seems about right. That seems to be the correct way to go, but I'm seemingly losing stuff at this point. This is a complete dead end. Wonderful. Just slowly... There we go, thank you. Okay, I am going away from where I need to go at this rate. Backtrack. I need to be over this way, I guess. That's up. I'll take that. Yep. No, I hear them. I hear them. I hear them. least now every time a mob spawns, I can hear the little sound alert of them spawning. Oh, the boots I have are better than that. I'll take bread. Where are the children? Where did they spawn? I'm very concerned. This is a dead end. How do I get over there? It's torture. It's teasing me on the mini-map. This is torture. Oh, here's the children. Boop. 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 There we go, thank you. It was right that way the entire time. Oh, you have guards. You have multiple guards. There's definitely a spawner over here that I can't see. At least I have the glaive, though. This makes this a lot easier. There's 1, 2. Come on. Make a 3. 3, 4. There's more. It's just respawning them. There's so many maggots. Can I, like, crouch around here? No. How many of you are gonna spawn? Where are you spawning from as well? There's a skeleton. Is this like a whole battle arena? That's what it's shaping up to be because there's skelly spawning in the corners. Oh, big fan of this library. Huge fan of this library. Instant upgrade. I love this. There's librarian zombie. Oh, carp. I can't see a goddamn thing. Chest. Fire protection, sharpness, and fire aspect. Efficient straddle jump. Power 4. You know what? Yes, actually. And another name tag. What is the use for the maggots? I can get a fried maggot out of it. That is it. Okay, then. I don't have a good way to fight these guys. I just want loot. You know what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna do this. Because this is a good spot for me to be. There's something up there. Boop. I'm using my bow. Not the glaive, there we go. Boop. I love that these are zombie villagers that are spawning here, though. That's great. That's a beautiful attention to detail. What up here? What's up here? Little library room with an upstairs. With an... I saw that. Efficiency, piercing, no. With another upstairs. Book. Impaling 5, depth strider sharpness 4. Correct words, please. There is so much going on in this one. I don't even know which mod this is. Oh, this one's possessed by Herobrine. Let me just... That was very satisfying. Oh, the possessed one's down there. Wonderful. Oh, there's a child. Fantastic. We love it. Yeah. Here's the possessed one. Yeah. Where are the other boys? I'm hearing more possessed boys. Or more silverfish. Down there, I guess. Okay. There's so much going on. What do you mean? I'll take it. Protection, quick shot. Oh, I have Frostwalker, right. I have Frostwalker. that I got at some point. Looting. Oh, actually, hold on. I completely forgot. Efficiency 5. And that's a sharpness 5 too. Efficiency 4. I completely forgot that I have the tool leveling table again and that all I need is words, and I just need a basic enchant and then I can upgrade it like hell. I need to get my hands on fortune. That is the #1 goal, actually. That's what I should set my focus on after we beat the end, is getting fortune, any sort, breaking 3 protection. I'll take that. I'll take mending. I'll take respiration and another power. This is heaven. This is amazing. There's another one right there. Straddle jump. There's another name tag. I'll take it. I need to make backpacks. I need to expand backpacks. I need to do so many things. There is so much. Brain overloaded. I'm getting so much good stuff out of this. It's not even funny. Drop the pants. Don't need no pants. Fire aspect, efficiency, name tag. Aqua affinity, I'm breaking. Don't care. I do care about the mending. I care about the mending. That's a stupid, very stupid spider. I hate your guts. Come on. Okay. That's not right. Why is that randomly there? That's not supposed to be there. That's another mending. I'm taking that. The amount of things that this has given me is astronomical. I think we need to put a... I don't have any lapis, but I want to get enchanting, but I haven't done shit. We've been playing for only 2 hours. I have 2 mending books. I'm breaking 3, protection 3, punch 2, efficiency 4, efficiency 5, flame, sharpness 4, looting 2, depth strider 3, sharpness 4, power 4, piercing 4, smite 4, respiration 3, power 4 again. I just need to, like, put this on the map as the best. I'm just gonna put it as library. Library. Honestly, I feel like I would much rather leave a waystone right here. I don't care about anything else. I would much rather leave a waystone right here and go out and find... This is so loud. And go out and find more things for, like, inventory management right now. Because I need to get... That clearly shows me I need to get enchanting. I can go steal books. I didn't get any silk touch, but I should go steal books. I need to get a stone cutter. I need to steal stone cutter from somewhere. Because if I put oak planks through stone cutter, I can make a stone cutter. Why is everyone in this one house? I guess I'm in here too now. If I put stone planks through a stone cutter... Oh my god, everyone, let me leave. Thank you. Stone planks through... Stone planks. Logs through a stone cutter will give 6 planks per log. And while I'm not a big fan of birch biomes, I guess we're kind of staying here for a moment. Because there's not really anywhere else for me to be at the moment. And this is pretty close to spawn as well. I don't have any stone, but I can get set to that. 1, 2, 3. Smelt. I need to make a backpack literally just for all of the stuff we just got. We're gonna do this. Wool, leather. Of course. Leather. Wool. Small backpack. I want the mendings to be down there. Everything else up. That helps a little bit. How upgrade? Bleh. Copper backpack. I need to surround the backpack in copper. Do I have to go and buy tiers? Gold backpack. Has to be made from an iron one. Iron backpack can be made with... I'm just making it iron. I have the iron to do that. I'm just gonna make it iron. Okay, how much better is that? Little bit. That's a little more manageable. This also needs to go up there. I should make another backpack for... I should make this one bigger. So I could put all the looty stuff in there. And then I'm gonna take this stone cutter, planks, so I have a bunch of extra things. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I can make sticks. And that's more sticks as well. Okay, throw that up there for a moment while I'm organizing. This is a way better run than last time. Infinitely already way better. We're doing so much better for ourselves. Mending books like so, and then the rest of them can come down like this. And then diamond, gold, emerald. I don't think there's anything else super valuable. There's the blaze stuff, so do that. You can go there. You. Bones are kind of useless. The rest of this stuff is in large part useless. Let's do this, because that's more gear. I don't need the shield. I have steak. Why am I eating the bread right now? And I could cook more steak. Oh, hi, Johnny. Get rid of shield. I'm gonna make another backpack for the other things. Boop, 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 boop. And we're gonna try and also look for leather so I can add this stuff to that later. Food can go up here. Oh, that can go there. I don't need a saddle right now. I just kind of wanted it. I think name tag can go in here with this stuff. Okay, and then memorize all slots, except these right now. And I don't think these need to be memorized. Yeah, okay. I am happy with that. Okay, what the hell do I do from here? I need to get fortune, I need to get enchanting. I have the enchanter, I just need to... That's why I was getting planks. I need to go back. I need to go back to the library and steal bookshelves. Stars. I need to go back to the library, steal bookshelves, then do enchanting. I'm really tempted to set up an enchanter there, but I don't want to do that, actually. I want to find another waystone. I want to head down here and see if there's any villages down in this area that I could steal waystone from. Because I'm really tempted to take over the stronghold, the Young's Better stronghold, and use that as my base. Because I think that'd be a kind of cool base to settle at. Or take a skeleton spawner as a stronghold, as my own base. Either of those sound appealing right now. Because I just want a base that I can chill at for a little while. And I should take this. Sorry, Johnny. Place it here. Memorize that. Nope. Memorize that. And I will probably upgrade this to gold. Do we have enough gold to, we definitely have enough gold to do that, never mind. I'm gonna upgrade this to a gold backpack, so in the future, we can have, because I do not have the words, for one, the leather to make any of the... I don't have any of the leather to make the upgrade slots. That's what these are. I would love to put a crafting table here, furnace, have the smoker and a blast furnace down here, because you can't use multiple types of furnaces at a time, and then a stone cutter upgrade. That's what I would love to do, but currently can't, because I do not have leather at all. And I need a more reliable way to get me some leather. Fantastic. Okay, head down this way. I need more waystones. I want to go back out to the stronghold and loot and go through that. I want to go through the young stronghold. And what is that plant? Spinach. I want to go... nope. I want to go through Young Stronghold to loot that, because that can have even better loot. It can have diamond armor and such in that. So I'd like to do that. I feel like I could go stream for... we're gonna go on for another little bit here. I think I might just bring us over to the Stronghold, and then we could pick up from that next time. Next Sunday. This coming up... Oh no, I'm not gonna stream this Sunday. Because it's Mother's Day. I'm willing to post a video on Mother's Day, but I'm not gonna stream on Mother's Day. Because I can just schedule a video to post and then quickly be like, hey, it's posted. That I can... What is over there? That I can do. Oh, that's a tavern! We've had this thing. That's a tavern. Is there anything else there, though? Is the question. I just want waystones. I'm just hoping that waystones spawn. I need to sit down and sketch out some buildings. Sir? You died in the most comical way possible. You poor sap. Can I fight you? You had cookies? I'm taking your cookies! That's not the right backpack. Oh, what I should start doing is move this into the slot. And I need to memorize all of this. And then take some of the string, because I don't use string a lot. I use more wool than I do string. So let's use some of the string, and then I can make a sleeping bag, which does not reset my spawn point, and it's a little easier to place down and pick back up. And then I now have a red sleeping bag. I'm gonna throw the arrows up there because I don't know what else to do with them. I haven't seen a Pembroke corgi yet. Supposedly they spawn in the forests. I have yet to see one. Oh, you have a little food cart? Cheryl has a little food cart. That's adorable. And then the barkeep isn't in. And then this is just a bed back here. I'm gonna set a spawn point, because why not? Oh, you're sleeping. Oh, yeah, it is sunset, ain't it? Oh, what do you have back here? Do you have pumpkins for me? Pumpkin pie. What? Excuse me? Ancient city map. No, thank you. No, I'm good, actually. I find them anyway for some reason, so I'm good. I'd rather it happen for comedic effect. There's no village around here. And it's occurred to me I got rid of my shears and now I'm complaining that I don't have any wool. That's a thing. Let me craft shears because I'm probably gonna need them. Boop. And whatever wool I see we can get along the way. Bucket? Okay. Charlie Bucket. There we go. I could put bread up here, move these over. Not sleeping bag up there, shears up there. Like that. Might as well do like this. I don't like how that is. Yeah, I might as well. Don't remember the bread, because I'm probably going to be switching that out. Alright. Village! I need waystones. I haven't seen a single wild waystone. A wild waystone. I don't have the song Wild Wild West on my playlist. I need to add that. I've been slowly adding more and more music to my playlist, and I'm amazed at the songs I do and do not have. Because I didn't have any Def Leppard songs, nor Led Zeppelin, and that is a crime. I didn't even have Pour Some Sugar on Me, which is like one of the most popular songs they have. I didn't have it. Would you like a cookie? Of course you would like a cookie. Have a cookie. Would you like a cookie? Of course you would. Have a cookie. There you go. Am I hurting the animals, wildlife, by doing this? It's fine. I'll trust it. Because if you feed a cookie to a parrot in Minecraft, I know it poisons it. I know for a fact that's what it does. So I just wanted to double check real quick that we're all okay. And then this is the bridge to this city. What do you mean? I haven't seen... I have better villages in here. I've yet to see a single better village. I don't even know if they're in the mod pack. Or, like, if they have spawned. Or are able to. Because supposedly they should be. Because that's Towns and Towers. I know that. Towns and Towers, additional structures, Structuratory. Oh, that could be. I haven't used Structuratory before. That could be what that stronghold was. I think repurposed structures. 49 this way. Oh, right, the birch one. Yeah, we've already been. That's not the better villages, though. What the hell is the better villages under? Because I know it's in here. Not repurposed structures. Is it just the Minecraft village? 2,500 away. Hello, that's a cave. Hold on. Diamonds? I'm feeling adventurous. Diamonds. Get away from me. Diamonds. Am I immediately gonna find the deep dark here? Did I just jinx it by saying that? I think it'd be funny if I did. There's that. Will it have any dark metal? No. No, just useless. Got it. So I'm pretty damn sure that's purely and only a building block. Deep slate levels. But not deep enough. Okay. I have grown bored of you. I am continuing the several thousand blocks. Up to High Rothgar. Or the High Village, pardon. High Rothgar, High Village, whatever. It'd be hilarious if it does end up being a village on a mountain. That would be so... It's a desert village. Never mind. Why is it sending me all the way out to a desert village? It couldn't make one in a plains nearby? Just not possible here? I love watching this little guy jump. It's so good. We'll see how far I can get to the village in the next half hour. Because I will absolutely wrap up at 9 o'clock. Because I am not used to streaming for more than 2 hours, and we're 2.5 in. Hip, 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 gonna be a compilation of me just going, yep. It's the new link. Ah! Isn't that the noise? I think that's right. What is here? Oh, Clown Boy. Where's Clown Boy? Where Clown Boy hiding? I see Zombie Horse. Oh wait, could I steal Zombie Horse? Do I still have the saddle? Also, I just got more leads. That's great. Saddle? It won't... I'm trying to click on him, but it won't let me. The only thing I could have that it could actually eat would be the golden apples, but I don't want to give him that. So I'm pretty sure you should be able to just ride a zombie horse, right? Like, I'm trying to click. Fine. It didn't do anything. Alright, just can't interact. Got it. Cool. The only reason I got a saddle doesn't work. Oh. Freebird? Is this a freebird? Can I pull a freebird? That'd get me copyrighted, but can I pull a freebird? We gotta pretend there's an epic guitar solo here. Oh. I got like 5 notes in. Walk across. Poppy? Okay. Drop that. Pray tell, what is this way? I still no village. I'm hoping that we'll find some more villages along the way to this one. Pretty place with cherries on top. Pretty place. I don't know what these cell phone tower looking things are about. I assume it's another Lost City thing that I just don't understand. Can I make that? Yes. Can I make that? Yeah. Plains, cows. Are there any overweight cows? No. 1. 2. Oh my god, you went flying. You poor thing. We have a few more leather now, so I can upgrade this bad boy again. And at this point, I want to start dyeing the backpacks, because I'm going to very quickly lose track of what's what. Immediately here. Straight up. Boop. And then give me leather for wool. Jeez, my shoulders hurt from doing this. I've been like non-stop sitting at my desk for a while. I need to start using the standing mode of it more. That didn't work. Yeah, I should have expected. Yeah, I should have expected that. There we go. Okay. I'm going the complete wrong direction. I seriously need to use my standing desk more. Wait. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. Alright. There's a campfire. That's a perfect spot for that. Those are 2 different mods. I know that for a fact. That's a great spot for both of those. Wood. Apples. Yeesh, my shoulders hurt. God damn. Ah. Yeesh. Why? A poor tree. It's a lava lake, though, not one of the lava wells, unfortunately. Ostrich. There nether... Yep, Skelly. Fake Skelly. I'm loving seeing these, though. This is great. It feels like normal Minecraft, but just tweaked. And that is honestly my favorite way to play. You know what I've just ended up... Wait, it doesn't work together, that side. What I've literally ended up doing here, ended up causing here, doing whatever. I've just made my own I'm just slowly making Skyrim. I'm not surprised in myself, honestly. What the hell? I'm not surprised at myself, honestly. I need to get back into playing Skyrim again. That's one of the things I want to do with some more the sudden free time I'm gonna have. Is I want to get... I started a NPC, or alphabetical NPC run. As in, I'm killing all of them. But because I felt like torturing myself, I put it on Legendary and Survival. And I have not even killed the first one. I'm getting to like a good level point where I can possibly. Is that a sloth bear? You a sloth bear. Yes, you are. You're adorable. I'm gonna assume I need to continue on this way. I'm gonna try and get away from the rhino before we sleep. Is it safe to sleep near the gazelle? I would assume though, so they're being pretty chill. Do I have any more agua? The barest bit. But now it's empty. Let's get away from the kangaroos before they decide they want to do a boxing match. Also, I've still not seen a single waystone. Not a damn one. What the hell? It's another cactus boy. It's more seals! Oh, they've almost made a star. Aw, you ruined it. There's a baby! Oh, that's so cute. Also, I'm gonna get away before any of these seagulls decide they want to steal my food. You know, we're just gonna walk. We just walk in it. Why not? I can. I might as well. That's a thing. Hold on. Redirect. Sometimes I can have good stuff. I think that this structure last time is how we got either looting or sharpness. I think it's how we got sharpness. Excuse me, everyone. I've come to ruin the day. Efficiency, Riptide 3. I should upgrade Riptide. I haven't tried that with these mods. That'd be hilarious. I want to see what Riptide 20 looks like. Waystone! Thank you! I appreciate it. I love your existence. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. You have no idea. So now we can go place this at the bottom of the stronghold. And I would still prefer to get a nether one that we can put in the nether. I know you can't. I believe... I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure you can find waystones in the nether. It's not something that I've seen very often. I would assume you can. What the hell is that? Herobrine? What have you been doing? What have you been doing? That's floating in the water. Oh, those are piranha. That's fantastic. Is that an ocean temple? And that's a barrel and that's a random boat. I love all the structures just coming together to spawn in this one spot. Because there's a nether over there and there's a nether over there. That's a villager. We're gonna go check up on that villager first. I don't know. That's just a normal. That's normal Minecraft. We don't care. And of course, in the distance, we eat. Nom 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 nom. Leave crumbs everywhere. No. Sorry, bro. You ain't got anything good. Maybe another day I'd save you, but don't feel like it, honestly. Diamonds. Hell yeah, please. I already have a stack of bread. I'll take all of that. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, nope. I need... Stop for like 2 seconds, thank you. What's in here? Of course it's round. I'm not sure what else I expected. You know, I'll deal with this. I'm fine dealing with this. You're all trapped. Hold on, you're all trapped. No, you're not. Never mind. I've been... No, you are! I see that. You're all trapped. Let me do this over here so I have a spot of air. There we go. You lot are trapped. Okay, what's in this one? Not really anything good. If I... Oh no, I still got poisoned. Okay. Honestly, it was easier to just take the poison. Efficiency 5. You know what? I'll take that. That's fine. Somehow somebody's dying. Don't know how they managed that one. Bye everybody. It's been great. I'm gonna head out. There's a skelly down there. I saw it for a second. There was a skelly down there. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop. Right. Yep. This. Guess here now. Yippee. Okay. Carry on. Ow. My shoulders. I know I keep mentioning this a lot, but jeez. Ugh, scrunch. No, sit a little awkward so I can just be in a new spot and hopefully ease the ache. Because, oh dear. I don't even know what I did with them wrong today. I've been walking most of the day. I did sit at my desk all day yesterday. Yeah. That'll do it. Maybe if I lower my desk more. Maybe if I lower this more. There we go. Oh, now I have to fix the camera. Oh. Oh, there we go. That's fine. Everything's fine. Deep lukewarm motion. There's an amethyst down there. I got so pissed off, I realized... Like, yesterday. I realized yesterday there was a amethyst right outside of my base. In PSMP. That I hadn't noticed this entire time I've been on the server. I've been at that spot, at that location, at that base for like 6 months. I've been at that spot, at that location for like 6 months. I'd never seen this before. I'd only noticed because I was killing squids, and that's it. The only reasoning for my notice at all is I just happened to see the smooth basalt for like 2 seconds. I wonder if we can find the singular plant that is in the desert while we're out here. It better not be sending me to this town. Because this is not the town I wanted at all. It looks cool, I won't deny that. This is another stronghold. This is another stronghold. No? What the hell is this here then? What's this about? No, this is absolutely a stronghold. This is 100% a stronghold. What the hell is this doing here? I know this is called the Amalgamation, but I did not mean it to the... What is that? What is that? My voice is like gone. Why is there an obsidian pillar? I'm taking all of this, by the way. I will waste my diamonds on this. We are crafting a diamond hammer. I've not mentioned this like at all this entire time. We have hammers. I haven't used them yet. We're gonna do this, make a diamond hammer. We're going up to the top. We're mining all of this. So I don't have to get obsidian for a long while. I don't know why there's an obsidian tower here. I'm taking it. Did I... Thank you. Okay. Oh wait, hold on. I can do this faster. I can do this way faster if we do this method. This is such a silly method, but it works, so we're doing it. Because this is 1,000 times faster to cheat out how this hammer works than do this the proper way. This is so silly. I love it. It's just a goofy guy. Also, I don't know what this structure... I don't know what any of this is. Hi, Herobrine. It's been a minute since you've been around. The last I saw of you was a redstone torch in the middle of the ocean, floating in the water. You didn't even have the decency to put it on the ocean floor. Oh, there's a village. That's where I'm supposed to go. Uh-oh. That's the direction I'm supposed to be in, not over here. But I'm over here now, so we might as well deconstruct all this obsidian. Because I want all of it. I don't even know what I'm going to use all this obsidian for. Probably portals. Now I can put a portal anywhere I want. I don't have to use that lava pool. I could just build a portal right next to the stronghold portal. Because honestly, that's what I'm going to do. How far down does this go? I will have the honesty to do this last one by hand. The proper way that's meant to be. I'm gonna stand off the block just in case. So I don't trust this mod pack. Why does it keep going? I'm not gonna bother. We're done here. No. I followed your shenanigans for a stack and 35. I'm good now, thanks, actually. No, stop that. I didn't want to click that. I just want to throw the obsidian up here. And also make the tool leveling table in the morning. So then I can immediately get enchanting next time. I'm not ending stream yet. Not yet. Not quite. I just want to get this done and out of the way. I want to quickly craft this before I forget, because I am absolutely the kind of person that will immediately forget that I have all this stuff for this already, and that I was just a dumbass that didn't craft it immediately after I could. Okay, so that's done. I need to, like, reorganize this again. Okay, let's do this, and then set up this, and then set up this. And that's beautifully organized. Fantastic. We love it. I wish I did these the other way, because that looks horrible. Thank you. Okay, perfect. And Patel iron string. I love. Why the stronghold? Out of here. Out of here. I think this is mostly... Endermite scuttle? I saw that subtitle. Why Endermite? I'm honest... You know what? I could use the string. I could use more wool. That was a lot of mushrooms. I'm honestly just searching these in hopes of more iron, arrows, and string. Although it's, like, absolutely pointless for me to search through these. 100%. You know, and I want to check out these two big towers, and then we'll go. I have a feeling there's going to be jack and all in them, but... Yeah... Yeah... Oh. Kinda good, not really. I would much prefer the iron and diamonds. I'll take the full damage. I don't care. I'll take coal, actually. Coal's good. Coal is very good. We like coal. Anything? Golden emeralds. Arrows! I will appreciate that one. There we go. Okay. And now... desert. There's still more of the stronghold. Absolute hate. This isn't even the desert village. This is a random tavern. We still have to go this way for another 100. Oh, there's a lava pool. Hold on. Good distraction. I want the dark metal. I require why? Not even gonna let it happen. No, you're not allowed. What do you mean? Thank you. Rigged from the start. What is that achievement? It's dead. What do you mean? Encounter a tarantula hawk in the desert. That's what that was. Great. Never want to meet it again. Never want to see it in real. What do you mean? 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 My one defense. There we go. Oh, you poor things. Oh, it's horrible. You poor babies. Thank you. Ah, boop, boop. Ah, boop. Fantastic. And then... up, up, up. Up, 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 up. That's not the right tool. Where is the chest? No. No. Yes. Beautiful. Give me... up, up. Firelight dust. No blocks of coal. More blaze powder, though. I may not even need to go to the nether. I'm... if I go through that stronghold that horribly spawned in, if I come back to that and I get more ender pearls, and also continue checking the other one that was giving me ender pearls, like, it's nobody's business, I may get enough that I could just straight up go in, and that could be one of the first things we do next time. Because I have 8 blaze powder right now. And if I continue getting blaze powder like this, I just need to find like 1 more. Because it's consistently giving me a fair amount. If I find like 1 more of the lava pools, then we're pretty set. Also, a lot of these houses kind of suck, but some of them are seriously good, so it's like the one reason I want to be out here. Water breathing, speed, don't care. What about you? No. What about you? No. Don't care. Out of my way, Lalius. Lalius? Lalia? No, no. How about you? No. How about you? No. You, no. You, no. You, no. You, no. This is just a farmer's house. That's just farmer. Don't care about that. Black and white kitty, you're adorable. I actually have a stray black and white kitty. I haven't seen him in a while. Don't care. Don't care. You don't care. Was this worthless aside from the waystone? Oh, are you? No. Not allowed. What about you? What about you? No. All of this was worthless aside from the wild waystone I found. Great. If I ever need sand, I have it now. Because that's... yeah, that's basically the entire place. I think I might... no, this is the house I thought I missed. Yeah. No, no. Wait. House over here. Isn't this the farmer's house, though, that I just went past? No! I missed this house. This is one of the better ones. I think, unless I'm scammed. And they have since adjusted the mod. No, 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 no. I think I've been scammed. Stefan, all you have in here is this. I'm gonna steal it then. I could really use that for my enchanting setup. I need, there we go. Okay. Oh, there's a pretty bird. There's a roadrunner. It's a roadrunner. Look at the roadrunner. Look at him. Ooh, yes, very pretty. Very gorgeous bird. Okay. Wait. Ooh. Aquafin. This is nothing compared to that stronghold. I used to think these were so good, and now I'm just disappointed. That's sad. Okay, wonderful. Yep. At least we have access to the Badlands, and we have access to the desert. That's great. That's fantastic for a long-term playthrough. I love that, genuinely, actually. Genuine love of that. Everything else kind of useless, aside from... You know what? Instead of, like, going over that waystone, let's head back over the... No, I need to go that way. This side is the side we need to go. I'm gonna wrap up stream in a second here, but I'm at least gonna leave us off at that stronghold so we can go grab ender pearls next time. And I'm gonna leave ender pearls in my hand on my hotbar so I remember Sunday we're getting ender pearls. Because I will straight up forget. So I have no idea if I'm gonna have time to edit this VOD before Sunday. I'm hoping I might be able to, but you never know. You know, we're gonna go through a tiny bit of this. Is there a room I can like sit myself in? There was the stairwell down over here. I don't know why an iron golem is here, but he is. Why are there multiple iron golems in here? Why is there also a desert mine shaft? What is this? Is this place just horrible? Oh, I think this place is horrible. It might not even be worth... Oh, wait. Stay pending. Pending. There's supposedly something around here. Can I... There's like... This is horrible. There we go. This is like a dangerous spot to leave, but I'm gonna leave myself here. Because that's a choice that I've done. This is now a future me's problem, but I know what I'm up to. Wait. If there's an Enderman, my phone's going off. There's an Enderman. There's an Enderman. Give me. Boop. 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 Ooh. Oh. Ah, great. Yeah. Alright, great. So, I'm gonna keep the boat down here so I remember, hey, that's good. Okay, yeah, this is future me's problem. That was a great first stream. Not necessarily first, Bertel, but that was a great day one, absolutely. This is infinitely better than the day one of my first time, of the first run. Alright, that'll be it for this one. I will be back Sunday. I mentioned it at the very beginning, but I'll mention it again. Video upload schedule has changed for the main channel. It will now be every Sunday, alternating between this, the Amalgamation, and Passion SMP, so I have more time for myself, and also to make these projects even better than they are currently. And this will mean a lot more content per episode for both of them. And it gives me more time to make more quality content for Passion SMP and to have more time streaming Amalgamation. And so hopefully that'll end up with better quality content from the streams and picking out some of the really good bits and some of the good pieces of progress we've done.